What is up, guys? Elevating New York by Genesee Elevators here. And today I'm going to be doing a video review of the iPad Air 1. That's right. This right here is the iPad Air 1 that I have had since 2014. February of 2014. That is right. It has now been almost 5 years since I actually got this. It's gotten some good use out of it over the years, and all I can say is it's about time I upgrade. It's about time to get something new. But before I do that, I'm gonna do a full video review of this thing to kind of give you a little brief overview of what it's like to use in 2018 and if it's still worth buying as a budget option. So with that said, let's get to it. My home button's broken, so yeah, I have to use the assistive touch, which actually comes in pretty handy. It's not too bad to use, but it's definitely quite a pain at certain times. But overall, it's not a bad device. I mean, yeah, it's pretty slow, but it's not too bad to use. The iPad Air runs, is currently running iOS 11.4.1, and it is actually going to be getting iOS 12 for the best of my understanding. So here we go. The iPhone, along with the iPhone 5S, iPad Mini 2, and this, and the iPad 2. I'm sorry, the iPad. Those 4 Apple devices have now become the longest supported devices that have run iOS. I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, I will admit the iPad Air was one of the devices that was completely obliterated and destroyed by the iOS 11 update. It never should have gotten the iOS 11 update, but it did. So, I will say though, everything on here is pretty slow. I mean, even the most basic of tasks, like going to the control center, pretty slow. I mean, it's a real pity at certain times. The control center is not that big of a deal to get to, but it really, yeah, it's not something that you want to use. It really is not very pretty to use at certain times. I'm trying to clear some of this here. Make sure I got some personal information on here that I don't want a whole lot of people seeing. Just give me 1 second here. I doubt anybody's gonna, even if some of those phone numbers would show up, I doubt anybody's actually gonna message those people. But anyway, right now in the control center, and as you can tell, it's pretty fast right there. Yeah, see, overall on the home screen stuff is pretty fast, but it's pretty slow when using certain apps. I mean, yeah, see, it took forever to load Google. I mean, when I first got this, it could load Google and Safari in less than half a second. Now it takes, let me see, almost 5 seconds, pretty much. Yeah, that's a very, very big fall from when I first got this device. The display on the iPad Air is okay. It's nothing super impressive. It's a Retina HD display with 2048 by 1536 with 236 pixels per inch, and it looks pretty good for the most part. I'd say it's definitely a nice display. It's definitely a lot better than the iPad 2 and the iPad Mini, from the best of my knowledge. I believe the iPad Mini 4 had a 2036 by 1536. 2040 by 1536 display. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. But the iPad 3 and 4 and anything after the iPad 3 is going to have noticeably higher quality when it comes to the screen resolution. The camera, on the other hand, is okay. It's not very good, but it's definitely a lot nicer than the iPad 2 and the iPad 3's camera. But it does do the job, and it's not absolutely terrible. But it's definitely not the device you want to buy for the camera. I'll just leave it at that. The rear camera has 5 megapixels and can technically shoot 1080p at 30 frames a second, although it doesn't necessarily look like that, 1080p, but that's what they're saying here, so alright. The front-facing camera, on the other hand, is awful, with only 1.2 megapixels and 720p video recording. It doesn't look very good. So yeah, if you want a device that can take high quality selfies, pass on this iPad. Go for the iPad Pro 9.7 or anything newer. It has a much nicer camera than this right here. But yeah, I'll insert a few pictures I took on this device here in a second. But yeah, overall the camera isn't absolute garbage. It's not bad, but it's definitely not... I wouldn't want to really live with it, but it's not absolutely awful. But with that said, I'll insert some photos for you to judge for yourself.